Damonte Coxie, receiver with Toronto Argonauts, joins us. Man, I gotta say, you're one of the most, I think, underrated guys in the league. But you're so athletic. The way that you go after the football is intriguing to me, and I think a lot of fans like your game. We need more Damonte Coxie help, hype out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of you committing though and staying with the Toronto Argonauts when you could have tested free agency, run us through that decision.
I love Toronto. From the coaching to the players. With me, I'm a big guy on family and principles, and I kind of make a lot of decisions based off what makes sense to me. And staying with the Argonauts made the most sense. I started off with them. They came and got me when I was not playing anywhere. So for RD to come and, grab me from working out every day and working at Amazon and then bringing me up here to Toronto to be a part of this program, I feel like I have to give that extra. I'm going to get an extra regardless, but I have to get that extra. I appreciate him. I appreciate the program for, bringing me in, and I appreciate the players for accepting me when I came in because, like I said, it was a time when it was no football. So, I stem back to, when I started. I always go back to when I started. If something made sense for me to leave, then if that was God's will, then maybe that would have been it. But I didn't feel like, and the situations that God put in my face, it wasn't for me to leave, and they gave me so much back, and I just want to give back, saying what they did for me, for them.
You mentioned Amazon there and what you were doing while you had no football. What was that time like for you?
It was an awakening moment. God had sat me down and told me, this is a decision. You can go left and stay where you at, or you could keep working and get to where you want to go. And I had to make a real decision. Am I going to allow my situation to take the best of me, or I'm gonna overcome it? And I chose to, overcome that situation. And I worked out every day, and I kept faith in God, and I believed in myself, and my family believed in me, and he presented me with an opportunity, and I've been grateful to the Lord ever since. Well, always.
What were those days like? You're working for Amazon and working out. They must have been long without anything finalized in terms of a contract for a little while.
Um, those days was tough. It was really tough. I'm not even gonna lie. It was some days that I was like, "What am I doing? What am I doing? If ain't nobody calling, am I just working out just for my health? You know what I'm saying?" But it's like those are the thoughts you gotta fight. Um, Especially with getting comfortable, getting complacent. You gotta always know that there's a bigger picture. That's having faith. Faith in God always, keeps people going. But that's the base of it. On them lonely days when I didn't feel like going, that was the days I knew I had to go because I can't not be putting in work because I'm not gonna prepare myself for when my opportunity presents itself. You always want to be ready for your opportunity. You don't want to get it and you're not ready. That's how you form up the situation. But I knew that if I was to work, even if I don't see progress at that moment, or when I thought I felt I should saw it, I knew if I kept working, it'll come. And it did.
How long was that time span for you?
A year and a half, almost 2 years of going to work and coming home and working out. So I would go wake up at like 6, 7, go to Amazon, get there like 8, get on the truck, do my loads, get down there like 4 o'clock. And after I get off of work, I go straight down to the bottom of my apartment complex and work out. Take my pre-workout, go work out, and come home and do it all over. And then I go on the weekends if I was off that day. I go to the field and do speed training with this with a coach I had. Ended up getting in touch with. She was a track coach. She was real good.
What was her name?
I forgot her name. That's the bad part. That's the bad part. So I said she was really good, but I do got her Instagram. She knows. She did help me a lot. She kept my mental straight too, because it's tough. It's tough when you don't see instant results. And you only thing you got is faith. Faith in God, and you watching all people and stuff doing what you feel like you should be doing too. You know, or you think you deserve to be doing. But you always gotta remember that it ain't about now, you know. It's about what you working towards. You just gotta keep that mindset that you know you a dog and you know you a dog and eventually your day coming. Every dog got their day. Just gotta keep working, man. Believe in God, man. Stay straight.
That's a long time, man. A
That's
year
a
and a
long
half,
time.
2 years to stay at it, and then your opportunity comes. How did the Argonauts first get in touch with you?
I was at a hub camp in California, and that's why I was doing my workouts. I was in a hub camp in California, and that was the first like real action I had for a long time. And I got out there, had a blast. You know, got to go compete against some guys, and then I think after that, that's when my agent called me and was like, Toronto want to get you up there. I was like, let's go. He called me, asked me if I had my passport and everything. I was like, no, sir, but I can get one. And we got it. We got it expedited. And I think the year that I was supposed to come up there, I think I ended up my passport ended up getting there too late or something. But the season was like at the back end, so Coach RD was just like, come back next season during camp. He brought me in. I ain't left since.
Man, no, and you're on the rise ever
Yes,
since. And
sir.
you talked about family and the feeling there and why you resigned. Some people might say that if you would have got to the market and looked elsewhere, that you could have gotten more money. So
Mhm.
that brings me to your decision about taking, let's say in this instance, a hometown discount
Mhm.
to stay with the Argos. How did you come to that decision?
Um, for me, I feel like if I was to go and chase behind a better number, I feel like I might have found myself in a place that I wasn't as happy. Like I said, my kids is like my life. So seeing them smile is bringing me joy. I gotta go to work and come home upset, but I come home to my kids. That it makes it a little bit better. But I would love to go to work because I love to play ball. I love to play football. I don't play football because it pays me. I play football because I love to play football. Reminds me of being a child. That's what we all seem to get away from at some point in our life is the inner child in us. And this is like keep me the closest to that inner child phase. So that's why I got so much love for the game. So it's not really the money. If you find yourself chasing money, you find yourself, running for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But when you find peace and happiness, everything comes to you. It's the law of attraction. We don't chase, we attract. Going fishing, cast and you wait for the fish to bite. You don't go jump in the water and put the fish on the hook. So I just feel like, what's meant for you is gonna come. You gotta trust God, man. You just gotta trust. If I waited 2 years of doing nothing, then I could wait my time for whenever God says right. I know when to move. He'll let you know when to move. Because when it's time to move, you ain't gonna have no choice but to move.
And Toronto are the defending Grey Cup champions too, so
Mm-hmm.
pretty good place to be. What's your relationship like with Chad Kelly?
My boy, man. Me and Chad started on scout team together. So when we first got there, and Matt was the quarterback, me and Chad was on scout team every day, tearing it up, and that was our game day. We didn't have game days because Matt was starting, and we had E-Raj and TD and JB, and we had all the guys and Marquise. So I had to find my game days and when I can show what I could do. That was practice, and I always go 110 at practice. So if they used to be like, all right, slow it down. I don't really know how to slow down. It's either this one speed. It's either I'm going really fast or I'm going slow. So it's like I'm like, and that's why Coach respected it. I feel, because he seen me that, I mean, regardless of the day, I could come here and every day and be like, whatever, go through the motions, but this is how I'm going to get better. So me and Chad took that really serious, and we was out there. And then ever since then, we just started being cooler and cooler and cooler. Because you can't fake a relationship. You got with me. It has to be a bond. And we have a bond. That's my boy. That's really my boy. I ain't gonna lie. He do funny. Do funny. And that's my QB. You're supposed to be. You gotta have a relationship with the QB. You got to.
How's his rehab going?
Great. He's going great. He look good, man. I'm proud of him. He's fighting. He's a fighter. Chaz is a real fighter, so he ain't going down without a fight. So that's why I love.
Have you been throwing with him at all in the
Yeah,
offseason?
we get some passes in. We talk, we work out, and we just talk about life. We talk about football too. We talk about life, but his foot, everything is going good, and we get some little touches in just to make sure he always into it. But every time we work out, we throw the ball.
Do you guys feel like because you won the Grey Cup and the success that you've had 2 Grey Cups in the last 3 years, 1 year you didn't win was a record-setting regular season. Do you guys have that target on your back that you have to manage that?
I feel like we always have a target on our back. Whenever you winning, people gonna want to take your spot. So, and even us just being Toronto, it seems like we're the team to beat sometimes. So it's like it's cool. We love it. We love it because come with your best shot. We don't mind. People want to fight, bro. We like to tussle.
Do you guys still view yourselves as the favorites in the East Division, the standard, if you will?
We don't even pay attention to that. A lot of my teammates, we don't do too much of the paying attention to the outside because it's like a horse with blinders on. Stay looking straight, get to where you go. You start to swerve over and lanes look side to side. You gotta stay straight.
I like it. How does Coach Ryan Dinwiddie keep you guys staying straight?
All type of ways. Coach is he's real passionate about the game. So it's like if you don't understand the passion and why he's fired up, then like you don't need to be out here. You know what I'm saying? So like if you wondering why he yelling or why he fussing, you must not understand football. You know what I'm saying? And he wants to win, love to win. That's why we all get along because we all want to win just as bad as him. So when he yelling and fussing and going off on about the plays not being ran correctly, we understand it's coming from a place of passion, not a place of, oh, y'all not listening. It needs to be like this because it shows up just how we talked about the record season. We got all the way there, but we didn't finish. Everything looked good, but it was small details that was missing. And that's what showed up in the game that we needed it the most. So that's why he always is so hard on us, and that's why we understand it too. Because you could do everything right, and then get to get to the day of preparation. I mean, the day that you didn't prepare to get here, and then it don't go as planned. And he's installed that in us too. That you still got to be ready to come out here and go to work the next day.
What does this Argos team need to do to be remembered as a dynasty?
Keep doing what we're doing. Keep winning games and showing up to practice every day because the wins don't start on the game day. The wins start on practice. If you win each day on practice, the game already won. But if you show up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday not locked in, and Saturday gonna look really bad. As long as you come to work, you check that day off every day, we'll be good.
You tend to look really good on game days, man. Look forward to watching you ball out 2025.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.